Greetings and salutations. I'm Kevin from Middle Age Muscle, and today I'm going to review the Bowflex Xtreme 2SE Home Gym. Stick around. Alright, so if you're watching this video, you're probably in the market for some kind of home gym, and you might be entertaining the idea of purchasing the Bowflex Xtreme 2 SE. Everybody knows Bowflex. Bowflex has been around for, I think, over 20 years. They used to have infomercials back in the day. Everybody knows the Bowflex. It's a common household name. Is the Bowflex Xtreme 2 SE going to be what you're looking for in a home gym? Let me get into the pros first. I'm going to go through the pros of the standard, unmodified Bowflex Xtreme 2 SE, what you would get if you were to purchase it directly from Bowflex. Now, the pros of this machine is compact. It is extremely compact. I live on the second floor of an apartment building. I have a second bedroom. The Bowflex fits within this bedroom, which is pretty small, but it fits in here perfectly. And I have plenty of room for my computer and various other items, guitar around the room. Now, that is a benefit in itself. Its compactness is great if you are limited on room. There are no weights. There's just the power rods, so it's not too heavy either. I'm on the second floor. I don't know, for some reason I thought if I got a weighted home gym that it might crash through the floor one night and land in my neighbor below me's apartment, so this seemed like a good option. For that not to happen because there's no extra plates or weights to it. Putting the Bowflex together, assembly, I did this by myself. I put this Bowflex together by myself. I did not need the additional help of somebody else. It took me about 3.5 hours to assemble this Bowflex just by following the directions. So that in itself, assembling it is not going to be too bad either. Exercises on the Bowflex, I think there's something like between 72 to 84 different exercises that Bowflex says you can do on it, and there's some other variations of things if you're creative enough that you can come up with additional exercises to work different body parts as well. What you can work with this machine straight out of the box, if you were to get just a standard Bowflex, comes with a leg extension so you can work legs. You can also work chest, you can work shoulders, biceps, triceps, back, and abs, and I think that is really about it. Different muscle groups in the legs by doing squats, leg extensions, things like that. They also have the ab, like I was saying, you could do ab exercises with the ab harness that attaches to this bar here. So there's a plethora of different exercises you can do. Now, unfortunately, that is about all I can say as the pros for the Bowflex standard unmodified that comes out of the box. Now, let's get into the cons, which unfortunately I feel outweigh the pros. So the cons of the Bowflex Xtreme 2 SE is they're not weights, guys. If you've ever worked out at a gym, or if you have a home gym or free weights, anything like that, if you've lifted a cement block, you're going to notice the difference between lifting weights and using the resistance power rods on the Bowflex. It's just not the same feeling whatsoever. In addition to that, and I'm going to get into why that is, but in addition to that, the standard Bowflex comes stock with what they claim to be 210 pounds worth of resistance on power rods. I don't think that's accurate either. I would say that the power rods themselves more likely are about half of what they say they are. So a 50-pound power rod at most is actually more like 20, 25 pounds of resistance, and that's not all the way through your workout. So that's going to be a problem for a lot of people. If you were serious about bodybuilding and building muscle, the Bowflex unmodified is probably not going to be it for you. I'm not a big guy. I mean, I'm only 5'7", I weigh about 150 pounds. My bench press when I'm at the gym is somewhere between 160 to 170, where I'm doing a set and I'm going to 8 to 10 repetitions with that. Now, the Bowflex, I had all of these power rods hooked up to it, which equates to 210 pounds. And the bench press I was doing like 16 reps at what they claim to be 210 pounds. I know that's just not accurate. The power rods are not true to the weight that they say they are. I even went out and, not went out, but ordered an additional 100 pounds worth of power rods, hoping that would give me more of an effect. And it just wasn't having the same effect as weights do. So let me get into that. If you're serious about building muscle, or for one another, if you're already a bigger guy, if you're a bigger guy who's been going to the gym and you're thinking about getting home, I'll get a Bowflex, you're not going to like it, I don't think. This is not made for bodybuilders. This is made more for, I would say, newbies who are just for the first time getting into working out. Maybe people who just want to keep in shape, but really aren't worried about building muscle. And let me explain why. So when you're at the gym, when you're lifting weights and you have dumbbells, barbells, whatever, you're on the cable machines and they have actual weights. Any kind of machine, anything that's got legitimate weight to it, that weight is always going to be the same. For example, if you have a dumbbell in your hand that's 35 pounds, that dumbbell is always going to be. It's going to be 35 pounds here, 35 pounds here, 35 pounds here, so forth. And even on the decentric, it's always going to be 35 pounds. Why is that key? Because key to building muscle is keeping your muscles under tension, time under tension. The more tension that your muscles are under for a certain period of time is what is going to eventually build that muscle. How is the Bowflex different? The Bowflex has power rods, not weight. Those power rods, when they're at rest and they're standing straight up, they're just there. They're nothing. There's no weight, no resistance to it. And as you do your exercise and those rods are, bending, your 50-pound power rod, which is actually more like 25 pounds, but we'll just say that. We'll just say they're actually 50 pounds. When you're down here and the rod is fully up, as you do your exercise, it's more like 10 pounds here, 15 pounds here, 20 pounds here, 25 pounds here, and then there. So your muscles are not under the kind of tension consistently throughout your entire exercise the way they would be if you were lifting real weights. And that's a problem for people who are legitimately trying to build muscle. Now, what can you do? So I made a modification to the Bowflex. What I did, I bought this thing. Here's the reason why I bought it, the reason why I had a home gym. I was going to the regular gym for like 2-3 years, and I got built up quite a bit of muscle. And my gym started getting packed. I live in a small town. It's a small gym. The next thing I know, every single time I go to the gym, I'm waiting like a half hour to 40 minutes overall for different machines. People are on them. What used to be a 1-hour workout turned into a 2-hour workout because I was always waiting for the machines, and it got frustrating. And I didn't want to go cancel and get a different gym membership somewhere further, so I said, you know what, I'm going to get a home gym. Everybody knows Bowflex. It seemed like a good idea. I'm like, I can do that. I'll buy the Bowflex. $1,600 I paid for this thing, not to mention all the peripherals I bought along with it. And when I got it home, got it assembled, tried working out with it, and I'm like, oh man, this thing is just not, it is not good. This is not like lifting weights whatsoever. I'm not going to build muscle on this thing. So I sat there and I pondered. I got really upset. Did not use the Bowflex. I used it for about 2 months when I first got it. It just wasn't doing it. So I sat there and I said, what can I do to this Bowflex here so it doesn't turn into a $1,600 coat hanger sitting in my room? So I came up with a modification. There's a link to the modification that I did and how you do it. I've got that link here, so go ahead and check that out if you're interested. But I modified this Bowflex by putting some bars on here and adding resistance cables, and you can add multiples of these to it, to the Bowflex. So now when I do my exercises, now what I was talking about earlier, where there wasn't resistance at the beginning of your exercise, which is the power rods, with this modification that I made, attaching these resistance cables to it, now it is like a full resistance all the way through. From the very beginning, there's tension all the way through to the end of your exercise. Making a modification like this totally makes the Bowflex, actually in my opinion, worthwhile. So long story short in this, if you're looking to build muscle, if you really want to build your physique, build muscle, and if that's what you're going for, I would not recommend the Bowflex Xtreme 2SE unless you're going to put some kind of modification on it to increase its resistance all the way through your exercises. I don't think it's worth it if you don't do something of that nature. I almost sold this thing for $200 on Facebook Marketplace until I said, I'm just going to try this modification, and now ever since it's working out great, I feel good on the Bowflex now. I feel like I'm getting a legitimate workout from beginning to end, all because I put that modification on it. You're going to need to do something like that if you really want to build muscle on this thing. So with that said, peripherals. I bought the Preacher Bench peripheral to it so I could do Preacher curls. It comes with a crowbar, comes with a Preacher pad. I also bought the tricep rope extensions. Like I said, I purchased extra 100-pound power rods on it, and with the modification that I made, adding the resistance bands to it does make the Bowflex, in my opinion, worth purchasing, but only if you plan on modifying it. Somehow, adding like resistance bands like I did to it, you're not going to like it unless you do that. So overall, collectively, I think I spent like $1,900 on this thing. Now with the modification, I would say the Bowflex is actually worth the money. Straight out the box, just power rods, nada. Add a modification, you'll be good to go, and I think you'll build muscle on it. So with that said, that is my 2023 review of the Bowflex Xtreme 2 SE. I'm going to do a 90-day Bowflex challenge with the modification, seeing just how much muscle in 90 days you can build using just the Bowflex Xtreme 2 SE modified. Stick around for that. There's going to be more videos in the future, guys. I appreciate you watching. I hope this review helped you out. Subscribe if you want to. Thanks for watching again. We'll see you next time.